A small plot of earth, maybe 10 feet by 20. It doesn't look like much when you first stand at its edge, staring at compacted soil and scattered debris from whoever gardened here before you. But this modest rectangle of ground represents something profound. This is your canvas, your laboratory, your quiet rebellion against a food system that has forgotten what real nourishment means. Community gardens are experiencing a renaissance across the developed world. In cities where concrete dominates and fresh produce travels thousands of miles to reach grocery shelves, these shared growing spaces offer something revolutionary. Direct connection to your food, control over what goes into your body, and a type of satisfaction that no shopping cart will ever provide. But here is what they rarely tell you when you sign up for that community garden plot. The first season will humble you. The learning curve is steep, and every mistake becomes a teacher if you let it. So let us walk through this together, from bare soil to abundant harvest, with the kind of practical wisdom that only comes from dirt under the fingernails. Start with observation. Before you plant a single seed, spend time with your plot. Visit it at different times of day. Notice where shadows fall in the morning versus the afternoon. Watch where water pools after rain. Feel the soil texture between your fingers. These observations will determine everything that follows. Most community garden plots receive between 6 and 8 hours of direct sunlight during peak growing season. This matters enormously. Fruiting vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, and squash demand full sun. They will sulk and underperform in shade. Leafy greens and root vegetables are more forgiving. They can thrive with 4 to 6 hours of light. Plan your layout accordingly. Tall plants go on the north side of your plot in northern hemisphere locations, preventing them from casting shadows over shorter neighbors. Now let us talk about soil, the foundation of everything. Most community garden plots have been worked by dozens of gardeners over the years. The soil might be depleted, compacted, or contaminated with persistent herbicides from municipal compost. Test it. Many university agricultural extensions offer affordable soil testing services that will reveal pH levels, nutrient content, and potential contamination. The numbers you want to see for most vegetables are a pH between 6.0 and 7.0, adequate nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and organic matter content above 5%. If your soil falls short, which it probably will, the solution is simple but requires patience. Add organic matter. Compost is the universal remedy for troubled soil. Work in 2 to 4 inches of finished compost before your first planting. The transformation will not happen overnight. But over seasons your soil will develop that dark, crumbly texture that gardeners call black gold. Raised beds offer another approach, particularly valuable if your native soil is severely compromised. A 12-inch raised bed filled with quality growing mix gives you immediate control over your growing medium. The investment pays dividends in reduced weeding, better drainage, and easier harvesting. Many community gardens allow raised beds within your plot boundaries. Check your specific rules before building. Spacing is where ambition collides with reality. That seed packet says tomatoes need 36 inches between plants. Your plot is only 10 feet wide. The math gets uncomfortable quickly. This is the moment to embrace a critical mindset shift. Intensity over variety. Your first season should focus on growing a few things well rather than many things poorly. Choose 4 to 6 vegetables that you actually eat. Grow enough of each to make a meaningful contribution to your kitchen. A single well-tended tomato plant produces 20 to 30 pounds of fruit over a season. 3 zucchini plants will overwhelm you with abundance by midsummer. 2 rows of bush beans provide fresh eating and enough surplus for freezing. This focused approach teaches you more than scattered dabbling ever could. Succession planting extends your harvest and maximizes your small space. Instead of planting all your lettuce seeds at once, sow a short row every 2 weeks. This staggers your harvest over months rather than producing one overwhelming glut followed by nothing. The same principle applies to beans, beets, carrots, and radishes. Think of your plot as a constantly evolving system rather than a static arrangement. Vertical growing transforms limited square footage into productive cubic footage. Pole beans climb 8 feet high on simple string trellises. Cucumbers trained up netting produce cleaner fruit and occupy a fraction of the ground space. Tomatoes in cages or on stakes reach skyward instead of sprawling across your precious soil surface. Every vertical inch you utilize frees horizontal space for something else. Water determines success or failure in community garden plots more than any other single factor. Most community gardens provide shared water access through spigots or hose bibs. Some have timed irrigation systems. Know your water situation before you plant. Vegetables need consistent moisture, roughly 1 inch per week during the growing season. More during heat waves and fruit set. Deep, infrequent watering beats shallow daily sprinkling. When you water deeply, roots chase moisture downward, developing robust systems that withstand drought. Shallow watering keeps roots near the surface where they are vulnerable to heat and dry spells. Mulching with straw, shredded leaves or wood chips reduces water loss through evaporation by up to 70%. A 3-inch mulch layer also suppresses weeds, regulates soil temperature, and breaks down over time to feed your soil biology. The community aspect of community gardening deserves attention. Your plot exists within a social ecosystem. The gardener 3 plots down has grown tomatoes in this specific location for 15 years. She knows which varieties resist the local diseases. She has watched pest populations shift over decades. She understands the microclimate patterns that no book can teach. This knowledge is freely available if you approach with humility and genuine curiosity. Share your surplus. Accept gifts graciously. Ask questions. Offer help when someone struggles with heavy lifting or a stubborn project. These relationships become the invisible infrastructure of your gardening success. When you travel for a week, someone will water your plot. When pests devastate your crop, someone will share starts from their backup seedlings. When you feel discouraged, someone will remind you that every experienced gardener once stood where you are standing now. Keep records. This advice appears in every gardening guide because it matters profoundly. Memory deceives us. We forget when we planted, which varieties performed well, where pest problems emerged. A simple notebook captures this information. Date each entry. Note weather conditions. Record what you plant and where. Photograph problems before they resolve. Next season, this journal becomes your most valuable tool. Expect setbacks. Squirrels will decapitate your seedlings. Powdery mildew will coat your squash leaves. A late frost will blacken your tender transplants. Heat waves will cause blossom drop on your peppers. These are not failures. They are tuition payments in the ongoing education that gardening provides. Every setback teaches something specific about your unique growing conditions. The harvest will come. One morning you will pick a tomato still warm from the sun. Bite into it right there beside your plot, and taste something that supermarket produce cannot approximate. The flesh will burst with concentrated flavor. Juice will run down your chin, and in that moment you will understand why people have cultivated gardens for 12,000 years. This small plot is not just producing vegetables. It is producing capability, knowledge, resilience, connection to cycles that existed long before grocery stores and will persist long after our current systems transform into something else. Each season deepens your understanding. Each harvest builds confidence. The future of food security might not depend on industrial systems or laboratory innovations alone. It might depend on millions of small plots tended by ordinary people who decided to remember what their grandparents knew. How to grow food, how to save seeds, how to build soil that sustains life. Your community garden plot is your entry point into this essential knowledge. Start small, observe carefully, learn constantly, share generously. The garden will teach you everything it knows if you show up consistently and pay attention. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and join me next time as we dig deeper into the practice